Roundtree. Michael Neilson on your left, Colin Roundtree on your right. Both these players 5-0. Great starts. A win here. Actually, no, they could lose out and make day 2.
Yeah, they're
good. They're good. Now it's just about how well they're going to be doing in day number 2, as there is a copy of Ether Vial there for Colin Roundtree and Arbor Elf there for Michael Neilson. The Vial's going to slide up to 1 there for Roundtree, who does have a history of playing humans and playing it well. This is the deck that he likes quite a bit. Cavern of Souls, of course, naming the obvious name in humans. Going to Vial in a Champion of the Parish. That is an Ancient Ziggurat. This is Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. And that's a nice start there for Colin as we head over to Michael. Michael going to play a Forest. Michael going to play Utopia Sprawl. He'll untap the Utopia Sprawl, tap it for 2 green. It's an Ancient Stirring. It's going to cost a little extra because of the Thalia. Top couple of cards, I think we found the Great Creator. We have. So there is Karn. This is a deck that is, of course, built around Karn, I would say.
Yeah, and a lot of good targets here, even if Neilson only gets 1 crack at it with the Karn. Ensnaring Bridge is the big one. There's also a Walking Ballista and a Ratchet Bomb, which can all do work against humans.
We'll head back over to Roundtree. He's got his Vial on 2. Champion of the Parish is a 2-2 right now. This is a Thalia's Lieutenant. Trigger on the stack. That is a Meddling Mage. So Meddling Mage is actually going to get the +1/+1 counter there from Thalia's Lieutenant. Lieutenant will get a counter from the Meddling Mage entering the battlefield. And Meddling Mage is going to make it very difficult to cast Karn the Great Creator. So these creatures will all get a little bit larger. Champion of the Parish, of course, will get even bigger as well. And now we're going to head back over to Neilson, who's in some serious trouble here.
But a lot of mana to work with. Big green.
Another Utopia Sprawl. This is a Primal Command. Played to great effect in the last round against Oliver Tamaiko and his Dredge deck. Oliver cannot overcome that. That's why he's got a loss now at the hands of Michael Neilson and this weird-looking mono-green control deck.
Counting up here to see if he needs to gain 7 or if he can afford to be disruptive here. Wouldn't surprise me if Neilson wanted to tutor up the Hornet Queen.
Well, it looks like it's going to be gain 7 and tutor up the Hornet Queen. The Hornet Queen can cause some serious problems. If he's allowed to cast it, of course.
Yeah, Roundtree here with a second Meddling Mage or a Phantasmal Image on the first Meddling Mage can make all this for naught, but if Neilson gets to his next turn, he might have the game at least a little stabilized.
We are prepared to head back over to Colin Roundtree now. Vial up to 3 here for Colin. That is a Reflector Mage. Get that out of the way. Grow the Champion of the Parish and Thalia's Lieutenant, and this will be a pretty healthy attack. And with the Reflector Mage taking care of the Arbor Elf, it's going to make it very difficult to cast the Hornet Queen. Neilson's fallen down to 6. Humans, for all its warts, is still a pretty good deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fast clock and a lot of disruption.
Well, and sometimes that's all you need.
Spent a lot of mana every turn because of Aether Vial, too.
Mm-hmm. That is going to do it. Colin Roundtree is going to win game number 1 here over Michael Neilson. Humans very quickly up a game here over this innovative mono-green control deck that Michael has brought to the table. But this strikes me, Patrick, as a pretty tough matchup.
I don't know. I mean, I think Neilson, my sense is I think he would have gotten that game on the play.
Yeah?
I mean, he would have had the Thalia would have been much slower, and I think he would have had a clean. He could have had a clean shot at Hornet Queen. He could have done something with the Primal Command besides gain 7. Just, you know, Roundtree's draw was very fast and explosive, and Neilson had his development stunted. I think on the draw it's very different.
Well, let's go to the sideboards, folks. Let's start with mono-green control in the hands of Michael Neilson. He's got some interesting ones here in 3 Damping Sphere, 2 Ensnaring Bridge, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, and all these one-ofs here for Karn. A Chalice of the Void, a Mycosynth Lattice, a Liquid Metal Let me make sure I get that right. Liquid metal coating. It's been a minute since I've seen that one. Pithing Needle Ratchet Bomb, Silent Arbiter from 5th Dawn, a Walking Ballista, and a Tormod's Crypt.
So you have 2 Ensnaring Bridges in there. I don't know if the plan is to board one in to naturally draw and keep one in the sideboard for Karn, or to have 2 to be able to go get, so you got a backup copy against a Shatter. But I could see bringing in the 1 if it's supposed to be a split between tutor target and sided in. I could also say bring in the Pithing Needle, because Needle seems like the type of card that it's very unlikely you'd ever want to get with Karn, but if you happen to draw one in your opening hand to shut down Aether Vial, it could be really valuable.
Other side of things here for Colin, 3 Damping Spheres, 3 Ambush Trap, 3 Auriok Champion, 2 Deputy Detention, 2 Militia Bugler, 2 Dismember.
I like the Deputies, and I could see being talking to Dismember too. Safe bet that Neilson's deck's got a lot of mana creatures.
Deputy Detention is just this beautiful catch-all for this deck. It's not a human, of course, but that doesn't really matter. You've been able to vial it through, can actually hardcast it quite a bit, and being able to take care of some permanents is a pretty big deal.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
It's whatever Neilson's bringing to the table, it's probably some permanent that's good against creatures, and Deputy is a safe bet to be good against something.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Colin Roundtree very quickly up a game, so we get ready here for game number 2 in just a moment. But first, let's talk about SCG Game Night, the very popular promotion that we've been doing for a handful of years here. You saw us talk about the newest addition to the Creature Collection earlier in the day, and this is your Kobold here for SCG Game Night every week in the month of June. Makeshift Mischief, an 0-1 Kobold token. I submit that Kobold should come back and not just on our tokens and sleeves.
You want the 0-1s?
Why not? They're fun.
They are really fun. I think the ship sailed a little bit with Mem Knight about they wouldn't make them that bad a second time around, and I think what's charming about the Kobolds is how bad they are.
Just still make them again, I think.
But you could bring them back.
Yeah, just some like ancillary set like Modern Horizons. Would have been so bad to have a Kobold or 2 in there?
I think part of it is also there's just probably more value to them to make anything that could be a Kobold, you just make it a Goblin. Goblins are more evocative in their world, and Goblins have a following. There's actually like legit tribal payoffs. I think the Kobolds are extremely charming. I love them too, but I don't know if it's the best. You only get to make so many cards, and I don't know if it's the best use of their time and space.
Go.starcitygames.com/game night for more information. Kobold Tribal. Just throw 1 in here, 1 in there. Couple sets. Just throw me an 0-1 with some keyword on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Doesn't even have to be good. Because none of them are good. I don't even know what the best Kobold is.
I think the Taskmaster.
Probably right.
That's the one that actually makes him able to do something.
Makes him tough.
Get to brawl with them.
Both players are going to take a look at the opening hand. Michael Neilson's on the play this time. You felt that would make a world of difference. We'll see if that's the case. Definitely would have made a difference in that game.
Yeah.
Can't argue that. Both these players taking a long look at it. All right, looks like they're both going to keep. It'll be an Arbor Elf to start. Like you, I also do appreciate the 18 Forest Blast Zone mana base.
2 Blast Zone, 18 Forest.
Yeah. No messing around here. There's a forest.
I would want to keep that Blast Zone concealed.
Yeah, well, Blast Zone's looking a little mediocre since it's going to blow up a lot of your own stuff. Same with this Ratchet Bomb. Now, taking care of Vial can be game-winning in some situations.
Or you can just have your Blast Zone play it, and your Ratchet Bomb play at 2 and 3, and let Roundtree run out of things to do with the Vial.
That's also true. Seachrome Coast. Into Thaya's Lieutenant. Trigger on the stack. This is a champion of the parish. So, 2 2/2s. So you head back over to Michael Neilson. He's got that Blast Zone in hand and a couple of different green cards.
Primal Command as well.
Blast Zone, of course, will enter the battlefield with 1 counter on it. And now it will be Karn. All right. I don't know if it's lattice time or not. Looks like it's going to be plus the Karn. Pass the turn back. Hope the Karn makes it through the turn, and you've actually got a Ratchet Bomb on the battlefield in case anything gets too out of control. Okay. The +1 doesn't look like it targeted anything. Maybe it targeted the Ratchet Bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. Either maybe trying to block or also not wanting to expose it to anti-creature measures.
Here come the Knuckleheads. Champion of the Parish and Thai's Lieutenant. They're going to attack Karn. So Karn's going to fall down to 2, it appears. Roundtree is going to play a Horizon Canopy. And now this is Deputy Detention. That'll take care of Karn. And now Vile's going to go up to 2.
And Deputy on that Karn is a little bit dangerous here. Roundtree at risk of Neilson being able to Ratchet Bomb away the Deputy and then kind of do everything lattice related in one turn.
If lattice is the plan. We'll have to find out. Can't forget that there is an ensnaring bridge in the sideboard, and that card's generally pretty good against humans. Here's 5 mana. Oh, this is an interesting little play here. Ooh. So in response to Arbor Elf untapping a land, Roundtree's going to Violin a Thalia, meaning that the next spell is going to be maybe too hard to cast. Didn't work out that way, though. Primal Command's still able to be played.
I also just don't know what's to be gained there by sneaking out the Thalia when Neilson always just has the out of Ratchet Bombing it. I mean, it's fine, whatever. You're gonna, you know.
It's a little cute.
It's a little cute. Seems more cute than good, but that's, you know.
Looks like Vile's going to be placed back on top of the deck. And Hornet Queen is what's going to be found. Neilson tried this last game, wasn't able to deploy it. We'll see if it will come down this game as we're going to prepare to head back over to Colin Roundtree, facing down a Ratchet Bomb on 2. Back to Colin now. He'll sacrifice this Horizon Canopy quite quickly. Looks as though he could use a little bit of help here, but for now he'll do what humans does, which is attack. Ratchet Bomb will take care of the 2 mana spells. Goodbye Thalia, goodbye the Lieutenant. Cavernous Souls will deploy a Vile and pass the turn back. It's like Michael Neilson's doing pretty well this game, actually.
Yep. I mean, his life total is high. He's got a Blast Zone, which is all sorts of headaches for Roundtree to play around, even if Neilson never uses it. I think we have a Hornet Queen coming here as well.
Well, buzz. The busy bees here. Gonna bring some friends, too. Hornet Queen, a card you generally see reserved for Amulet Titan. Spreading its wings here for this mono green control deck. Not hard for this deck to find, thanks to the 4 copies of Primal Command.
And not hard for it to cast either, because the deck is flooded with mana.
And this is generally a pretty hard card for humans to beat. So this will be interesting here for Roundtree if he can handle this. Colin going to play a land and just pass the turn back with a Vile on 1. So Hornet Queen has caused some problems here as we head back over to Michael. Nice, picked up a copy of, looks like Walking Ballista?
I mean,
yeah.
This is extremely bad news for Roundtree.
Looks like it's going to be shoot deputy, shoot deputy, shoot deputy. Get back my Karn. Karn enters the battlefield. Starts on 5 counters. Going to go up to 6 counters, pass the turn back. Vial here for Roundtree is going to go up to 2. He'll draw a card. This is extremely bad news, as you mentioned, and that is going to be a concession for Colin Roundtree. So Michael Neilson with mono green control has tied things up. It's a weird-looking deck to be sure. You can find it on Cardboard Live right now, and it's tied up and looking to go to 6-0.
Yep. Just the mana creature is not the easiest things for a human to interact with, and with Neilson out on the front foot and light total fairly high, was just able to set up a wall of defense around Karn, and now we're going to game number 3.
Yes, we are. But I think one thing that does matter quite a bit here, partner, is that Colin Roundtree is going to be on the play.
And I think both of these games would have been very different for the winning player had they been on the draw. So big advantage for Roundtree here going into game 3.
Well, these players are shuffling up and getting ready for that third and final game. Before we get there, we'll have a quick few words from our friends over at Ultimate Guard. We're back, getting ready for a third and final one here between Michael Neilson and Colin Roundtree. Mono green control and humans are all tied up. Have a time shifter match here for you after this, of course. But for now, Colin will be on the play. It was an important match here for both of these players. Ancient Ziggurat into a Noble Hierarch is where game number 3 begins. A Forest and an Arbor Elf here for Michael. Michael's deck, no stranger to mana acceleration, has plenty of it. It's just all about what is he ramping to and does he do it in time. Unclaimed territory into Deputy Detention means that that card actually could be naming human. And it probably is as we head back over to Michael Neilson. Arbor Elf is gone. And now Utopia Sprawl is here, and that's naming green, of course.
Yeah, so many of Neilson's 4, 5, 6 mana plays are not something that Roundtree can answer very easily. So I think that Roundtree is going to be very aggressive in trying to cut off Neilson's mana as much as he can.
Thalia, that'll resolve. This is an attack for 2, Deputy Attention plus an Exalted trigger. Now there's an Ancient Ziggurat, and that is a Thalia's Lieutenant. After combat, of course, because the Lieutenant does not pump up the Deputy of Detention, it's a Vidalcan Wizard. That is a Blast Zone. Pass the turn back, maybe with the intention of putting more counters on the Blast Zone here in just a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would at least want to go up to 2. Roundtree here doing a good job spreading the costs around.
Boy, is he ever, as all these knuckleheads are going to come into the red zone. And again, you can see the difference between play and the draw, folks, especially in this matchup.
I mean, Neilson on the play gets to go turn 1 Arbor Elf, turn 2 Utopia Sprawl, big second turn, and then you Deputy who, may not matter very much. Instead, Neilson had his mana pinned a little bit, and now he's way behind.
Neilson to put a counter on that Blast Zone, but it might be too little too late. That's a Forest. And just going to pass again over to Colin Roundtree. 28 in favor of Roundtree as he will draw a card. A player that has had success at every level in the game is attacking with all of his creatures. And there goes the Blast Zone. However, still plenty of damage going to come across. Looks like it's going to be 3, 4, 5. That's a snow-covered island. That's an Ether Vial. And this is a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Back over to Michael Neilson we go. What's the haymaker he's looking for? Karn, the Great Creator, is a little bit too slow, methinks.
Yeah, you got to stop the flyer and everything on the ground. The Walking Ballista can't manage everything here. Is there any way for Neilson to defend himself from this Manus Rider?
I think that's what he's trying to figure out right now. And he can keep looking through that hand, but I don't think he's going to find what he is looking for among all of those cards. And that is going to do it. Colin Roundtree is going to win this game and match you over Michael Neilson 2-1. Human's going to take care of mono green control. It's still a day 2 performance.